Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I want to share a few quick tips with you for Legion Remix, especially for Phase 3. So these are just some information that hopefully will help you with some of the new things you can do during this new phase, including the new raid, Tomb of Sargeras, and also the new feature, the different Legion Assaults. So first, let's start with the different Legion Assaults. Here, for those of you who are not really familiar with these different events, basically you want to go on your map, and here you will sometimes have these Legion Assaults that will appear in one of the different zones. And so all you have to do is to go in the zone. As soon as you arrive, you will be invited to accept a quest, and then you just need to complete 4 of the different world quests that are available in the zone. Once this is done, you will need to go back and complete the rest of the quest line. So usually you will just have to kill more mobs, kill mini bosses, and then each time you will need to go into a scenario in order to kill a mini boss. And here, normally you can directly queue up as a solo player from the main quest giver. However, it is for some reason not working really properly. So if you're tagging alone, sadly, you will probably wait like at least a few minutes and sometimes even more than that in order to finally find 2 other random people in order to do the mini scenario. But if you just invite 2 other players and you queue up with a group of 3, you will automatically be able to join the scenario. So here, what I would recommend you to do is usually there are plenty of people who are waiting in the same area. You can also just use maybe the trade chat or something like that. Just find 2 other people who are willing to do this group with you, and then just form the group, tag, and like that you will win quite a lot of time. You can also just check if you want the group finder, and here sometimes in questing or maybe dungeon or raid you will find some people who will also create these different groups. But I feel like the easiest is really just by whispering the different people who are around you, or just saying, hey, who wants to group up to do this scenario. When it comes to the timing for these different assaults, sadly, it's not easy to know exactly when they will be up. And I believe there is usually a 12 hours gap between one assault to another, or at least that's what some people have been saying. So here I would recommend you to go on Warhead, and here in this little section on the main page, as you can see, they have added this timer for the different Legion assaults. And normally it tells you when is the next assault each time. So you can click on EU or NA in order to get this information. So at least like that, if you're not sure when it will be up and you really want to do one of them, either for maybe the main quest line or just to do the assault, you will be able to have more information regarding the timer here. And you can always decide to ask people in the trade chat. Maybe they will also have more information. My final point regarding the different assaults is simply the fact that you actually won't get a lot of interesting rewards from these different events. Basically, you will just be able to get the cash that will reward you with maybe a piece of gear and these few things. But that's pretty much it. You're not getting any other interesting appearances, anything else. In the normal version of these different assaults in Retail WoW, you are able to get some of these different appearances right here. But sadly, right now, this is not the case in Legion Remix. And so for me, I don't think there's really a lot of reasons for you to do a lot of these different assaults. Again, I think this is a missed opportunity from Blizzard, because I think it would have been good to be able to get these different weapons and these different appearances from Legion Remix. And also there are tons of unused appearances that match these different weapons just with different colors that would have been great to have in Legion Remix through the different assaults. But sadly, again, this is not the case. So don't waste too much time, I would say, on these different assaults. The only thing I would recommend you to do is to first start the campaign for the Broken Shore. Here, normally you can do so by going right here in Data Run, and you will be able to find Khadgar that will give you the first quest. And then you will be able to do the first few quests, and at some point you will be required to go and do one of these different Legion assaults. So just make sure to do that, have the quest with you, and at least when one of these different assaults is up, just go do it, and like that you will be able to progress through the Legion campaign. Now I want to talk about the new raid, the Tomb of Sargeras. So this is definitely a little bit more challenging than the other raids that have been made available so far in Legendary Mix. And especially the one fight that probably you will struggle a little bit is Kil'Jaeden, especially in Mythic difficulty. So here it's actually pretty easy, but if your group doesn't follow this little strategy, sadly you might wipe for quite a long time before you're able to defeat this boss. So basically for Kil'Jaeden, for the first phase, I would recommend you to save all your different cooldowns and bloodlust, because here you will only be able to maybe remove 20% of his entire health, and after that he will become immune to damages. Then he will start dropping these different rupturing singularities, which are these purple orbs, and this is the challenging part of this encounter. Basically, your entire raid needs to go exactly where this rupturing singularity is about to drop, and then it will knock all the players back, so you need to make sure to face exactly the opposite side, because otherwise you will probably fall from the platform and you will die. And so here you will need to do that a few times in order to then go to the next phase. But again, this is definitely where a lot of players die very easily. So just make sure to explain that to all the people in your group, and also to make sure that everyone follows, and really make sure to look at where the next rupturing singularity will drop in order to not fall and die. Once this is done, if you have a good group, normally by simply using all your cooldowns, bloodlust and everything, you should be able to directly kill Kil'Jaeden, but you really need to drop all the things that you have at that moment, because otherwise you will need to go into another phase that is also challenging and that usually a lot of players will also die from. So I would recommend you to try and just burst the hell out of Kil'Jaeden, so like that he dies directly after the rupturing singularity phase. Like that, you will be able to kill him without any issues. Now, with the Tomb of Sargeras raid, you will be able to get these Fell Wrap slab from the Maiden of Vigilance boss. And these different items are very similar to the different horns of the first satire that drop from Xavius in the Emerald Nightmare. Basically, you will be able to use 20 of them plus 30,000 bronze in order to buy this cosmetic weapon right here. So the one thing that is interesting is the fact that once you buy the item, you will then be able to buy the minor bronze cache using these different items. So here, as you can see, for instance, with the horns of the first satire, every 5 horns, you will be able to buy one of these minor bronze cache. And so normally, if you are doing all these different raids in Mythic difficulty on a daily basis, you should have quite a lot of these by now. And with that, it means that it's actually easy to make a lot of bronze by simply saving these different items and by buying this item. So even if, for instance, you already have this item with you in Retail WoW, I would maybe recommend you to still buy it, because after a certain point, you will be able to pay back the 30,000 bronze that you have, and you will then be able to also just make a lot more bronze, because if you're not doing that, sadly, these different items are completely useless. Of course, it's only if you are planning to do this raid again and again and again, because you will need quite a lot of them to pay back the initial 30,000 bronze that you will need to spend in order to buy the mace in the first place. But remember, each kill in Mythic difficulty will give you 10 of these different items. So it means that each Mythic kill will give you 5,000 bronze. So this is something that will go pretty fast, and basically after doing it 6 times, you will be able to already pay back the 30,000 bronze. Another important thing that I've seen a lot of players complain about was the fact that now that a lot of people have 740 eye level, it's a bit more challenging to get invited into some of the different groups, especially for instance for Mythic Tomb of Sargeras. So here, my best advice is to simply create your own group. You can just go here, create your group, and like that, you will be able to find in no time a lot of people who will be willing to do the group, especially a lot of 740 high level players. So this is something that is very easy. It doesn't require you to have done anything before. You can literally do that with any high level. And like that, you will be able to get a complete group. Right now, obviously, it's not the best time for me to show that because there are so many of these different groups that are already available. But if you're doing it at a time where there's not as many, it's very easy to do. And just put in the title, for instance, 740, rush, fast, and then usually people are just going to join. So again, this is something you can do. There's no restrictions and it will make it way faster for you to do these different raids. Now, when it comes to the original class order or mounts, there are a few important things for you to remember, and especially there are a few things you need to avoid doing in order to save a lot of time. So here, I haven't been able to do it myself, but this is the post that this person has made, and this is very useful. So as you can see, the first thing is, of course, for you to do the campaign class. So if you haven't done it, you won't be able to get the mount. Then after that, you want to do the first part of the Legion Fall or Broken Shore campaign. So again, you need to go and have the quest from Khadgar on the Krasus Landing in Dalaran. Then you will need to also complete the Champions of Legion Fall from Maev at the Deliverance Point, which is the main point in the Broken Shore. Then after that, you need to go back to your class order hall, and normally you will have this new shield quest available from one of the different class leaders. Complete this quest in order to recruit your new champion. Then you need to go back to the Deliverance Point on the Broken Shore, and there will be a new shield quest available from someone from your class. So again, here it's different depending on your class. And then it will lead you back to your class order hall, where you will have another quest line that will give you your class mount. So this is something that is important because basically, first of all, you need to make sure to not do each time the main breaching the tomb quest line, which is the Broken Shore one and the Legion Fall one on each of your characters, because this is not needed. You will be able to skip it at some point. Here also remember that, for instance, for this one Legion Fall, you will be able to completely skip the first scenario, so you can directly arrive at Deliverance Point. Also, you don't have to do the Balance of Power quest line because this is the one for the artifact appearances. The Light's Earth quest line, breaching the tomb on each character, you just need to do that once. Sacrifice your firstborn child, the different quest line from each zone, anything in Suramar, and also anything linked to your artifact weapons. So really, if you only want the original class mounts, follow this process right here, and normally you should be able to get them pretty easily. And if you just want to get the mount, what you can also do, if you have already completed this entire quest line for the Legion Fall and Broken Shore on one of your characters in Retail WoW, is to get your remix character to level 80, do your class order campaign, and then you want to have this character transferred to the normal version of Retail WoW, and like that you will be able to directly skip the entire thing and go to the quest line for your mount. So this is something that apparently works as well, and that might make it easier if, again, your only goal is to get the different original class order mounts. But one important thing for you to remember is that currently most of these different quest lines are broken. So for instance, you can see the Death Knight, Mage, Monk, Paladin, Shaman, Rogue, Warlock, Warrior ones are not working, which means that you can't actually complete these different quest lines and unlock the mounts. So probably something that Blizzard will fix at some point, but right now it's not working. So just something for you to keep in mind, and if that was one of your objectives, maybe wait a few more days for Blizzard to finally fix that. So after that, you will be able, hopefully, to complete these different quest lines. Also, the last thing that I want to mention is not specific to Legion Remix or to Phase 3, but it's just something that I think a lot of players are not really aware of, and that is actually very useful. So basically, each time you're losing some health and you want to quickly regenerate your health and you're not playing on a healing class or you don't have food, you can use this thing right here, Recuperate, which is actually something that everyone has on any of their characters. And as you can see, you will simply be able to put this fire and you will just get all your health back. And this is something that doesn't have a cooldown, so you can just do it again and again and again. So I think this is just something that is very useful, especially if, again, you're playing on a class that is not really good for self-heal. And yeah, this is something you can use at any time after a combat. So you just need to not be in combat in order to be able and use it. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye.